Okay, now I hope everyone had a good break, right? Let's pick up where we left out with our last group of today. So, our last group of today, they will come up with the topic, will global English language teaching be a beacon of hope or recipe for disaster in Thai teaching English to speakers of other languages? So, this topic explores the impact of global English in Thailand's education system. Students can examine whether embracing diverse English form will empower learners or create challenges in standardizing teaching and assessment. It includes views from Thai TESOL professionals, learners, and policymakers on the pros and cons of GELT and how it might affect Thailand's global standing and educational goals. So without further ado, let's welcome our last group of today on the floor.
All right, so to start the session, why don't you introduce yourself first? Okay, come sit here.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nutfa Natputri.
And me, Kamira Thongnu.
Me, Prumpon Thongnakau, your MC for today. You can call me M for short.
So, and me, Louis Fan, you man.
And me, Titat Manasengtong, or you can call me Arm. And we are all from the Faculty of Education English major. Glad to meet you all.
All right, so the title of your group is quite interesting. Okay, it's quite interesting. So my very first question is, what are some opportunities of, using GELT in Thailand's education system? What are some benefits? What are some opportunities?
Okay, to beginning. Okay, I think the easiest concept that we could get from using GELT in our education, Thai education system was say it would it would raise our students' awareness of variety of English. Yes.
Also, raise a confidence in order to speak, because many Thai students are afraid to speak in order to ungrammatical grammar in terms of grammar. So if we apply GELT into Thai education, we might raise also awareness and confidence.
Yes, because GELT or Global English Language Teaching is like a focus on the diversity of language or English language in worldwide. Like we focus on not just English British or American English, because we focus on like the other English language in around the world. For example, like Indian English, Nigerian English, Singaporean English, or even Thai English. But in Thai we usually teach in the traditional way and traditional model. So it's just focus on the grammar or vocabulary or the pronunciation that have to be correct, like native speaker. But in GELT, we focus on the diversity.
Anyone else? Yes.
That's right. And for me, I think it's more open up for people who want to use English. And it makes people more comfortable to use English in terms of speaking or writing, because we used to stick with standard English, so it's kind of make people more comfortable to use English to speak out and use English in communication.
What about you?
Can I hear the question again? I completely forget all.
What are the benefits of employing GELT in Thailand's ELT?
Well, first of all, I would say that Thai students are, I think, it's not the new thing for the Thai student, because nowadays there's a lot of like social media or like games which is Thai student can be accessed easier compared to the past. And if you bring GELT, which is focused on the communication and the variety of the Englishes, right? It would be benefits the student that they knew and they realized there's a lot of like Englishes nowadays and not like have like the confidence to speak more like in like style of in the Thai style.
Yes, yeah. So have you ever tried explaining GEL, I mean concepts related to GEL to young students? Have you?
From my experience, I have not
Yeah.
tried to.
Do you think that they are open-minded about this concept or they are resistant toward this concept?
I think it is kind of challenging to the students to open mind because they do know that there's like different kind of Englishes, which includes in the memes or in the games that we all being today. But like for young students, I think that is kind of challenging, right? So it's not hard, but it's that's what I say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you want to add,
I think it's kind of like create an awareness for young
Create an
students.
awareness.
Yes,
Okay, good.
we cannot like directly talk to them about doubt, but maybe we can continue create an awareness for
Right.
young student about doubt. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, can I
Good.
my own experience? Okay, as a tutor right now, okay, a lot of my students, one of my students, they are from Satit, Mathium, yeah, and she is at Pratham 6, and she once day after the class, and I'm about to come back to my dorm, she asked me that, teacher, can I why there's various accent when I go abroad, you know. She used to go to whether it's Japan or Korea, you know. She went there with her family, and she find that it is so difficult. There's so difficult accents right there, and she asked me that question, that why in real life, she said like this, like, why teacher, why don't you never say about this kind of thing before? And it is, so I asked her back that, what's your feeling about it? So she is, at the age she can take, I think in my mind, she can take this content in her mind, she is ready. So I asked her back, and she told me that I don't think it is quite difficult to catch in some word, in some pronunciation. But when we try to, like Ajahn Chap has said that communication is a two ways. There's the speaker and the receiver, right? So we normally, when someone tries to speak to us and we don't understand that perfectly, 100% in that sentence, we normally try to understand them by maybe asking or even give them empathy, showing empathy for each other. So she answered me that, why don't you tell me that there is various of accent like right here. So she has the feeling about various accent that it has to catch. Yes, that a fact. But I will probably have empathy for those people around her, and I'm so proud of that. That means that even though she doesn't know about GELT, but this concept has already been in her mind. So that's my experience, and
she
I'm
could
very
link,
proud of her.
Between the knowledge of
Yes.
GELT and real
Situation. Yeah.
So can I ask others, why should students be informed of this concept? I mean, global Englishes concept. What can global Englishes benefit them in terms of communication, in terms of their learning, in terms of their future use of English?
I think yes, because as you know that GELT all try to open up students to speak out and try to use English even more. So I think the way that we use GELT in education and try to make students communicate with others, it's kind of help them to speak out more, because as we know that Thai student and also Thai population stick with speaking English in terms of using grammar, using in properly, and using grammar also. But so I think using JELT in speaking will make them try to communicate more, and they will not stick with the grammar and standard English. So it's kind of make them try to speak out more and be comfortable to speak and communication with others.
So you mean that the students will become more confident
Yes.
when it comes to language use, right? Without having to worry that their language has to be judged against the native speaker benchmark or
Yes.
yardstick.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
that's
correct.
that's a good point. How about you, please?
For me, according to New Youth Fund, after they have the confidence to speak English, maybe in their classroom or when they study at the school, and for in the future when they have to work with others in the maybe in the global in the world, or have the workmate, that may be a foreigner, they can know the English, the different type of English that have in this world they have a lot of type of English, so not just British or American or just in Thai, but they have Indian, maybe the Korean English, Japan English, so that make them have more confidence and the attitude, yet positive attitude for those people.
Is how we mediate and alter their attitudes to be more neutral when they encounter linguistic differences. Okay.
You have just mentioned a lot regarding the positive side of implementing global English language teaching in the LT classroom, right? However, when we're looking back in Thai societies, it doesn't mean that this concept will be, accepted by every scholar, Thai scholars. There are so many challenging in order to implement the concept of global English language teaching effectively in Thai ELT classroom. From your own perspective, do you think are there any challenges in Thai ELT classroom in implementing the concept of global English language teaching? And if there are, of course there are, as a teacher, how you are going to tackle with those challenges if you would like to implement the concept of global English language teaching in your own classroom in the future?
Let's start with challenges first. Okay, challenges. What are
Okay.
some challenges that teachers might face if they want to implement, this
Yeah.
concept in their
In
teaching?
the class.
It's about contradicting
Yes.
to beliefs,
Ah.
to the perspectives, to the attitudes, perceptions of the very traditional, EFL.
You mean it's an idealized, right?
Thai
Ah.
scholars, Thai ELT communities.
Yes. Okay. We have discussed a lot about this because it like you just say that it's not just one side, just positive effect, but it is also have the disadvantage, And I have found that one of the biggest challenges that when we become a teacher, we already know well that we have to have the criteria. How can we decide the measurements for when we apply JELT in our classroom? How can we change the way of our old one of criteria for suitable with JELT? For example, to be clear, understand. If we talk about in traditional norm in our class, when we talk about when our student learning speaking, we have the criteria. It's clearly seen that we can take, if they speaking it's right or wrong, and it's kind of rely on some grammar. But when it's come to, when we apply JELT in our classroom, how can we make the new one, the suitable one, the most suitable one for our students? Yeah.
Okay, but
Yes,
what
yes.
you have just mentioned is a kind of
Yes.
Yeah, but how in terms of challenging?
Challenging.
Are there any challenging in implementing this concept in GELT?
Okay. I will talk about the believing.
Yes.
Yeah, the believing. Because I have just said that one of my students, like she had already took this this kind of jailed concept in her mind, but I now have taught. I'm a tutor of 10 students, but she is only one student that know that this concept exists. But other students not
Explain a bit more about belief. What do you
believe.
mean
My student, this one student that already know about concept of jailed.
by- Let's talk about belief in general in Thai ELT society, not just only one particular student or place.
What do people in general believe about English?
It is they still think most of Thai people still think that traditional one is better right now because it is idealized. Jails is idealized right now, and a lot of people don't know about this concept. Even me, okay, for example, me, I don't know about jails concept until that I became the freshman in university. Yeah, so it's about maybe the levels of education, the high, it exists in higher education only.
So as you mentioned, many Thai scholars or ELT in Thai ELT community still believe, still rely on EFL, traditional teaching method.
Yes.
Which mainly focus on, okay, we have, the aims of the English language teaching need to be based on native speaker norm. You have to learn how to speak English like a native speaker, which is somehow contradictory to the concept of jail. So how you are going to tackle with this challenge?
I think, in my opinion, first of all, I want to build the confidence first. I think the key in implementing self in my classroom is confidence first. If they confidence to speak, whether every accent they speak, I think that's the first point. And the second one, I think I'm going to build an awareness, maybe by learning various accents. Maybe this class, maybe a American one, British one, Indian one, and Japanese one, maybe like various accents to there to listening and also like learn about culture.
Okay, your second idea is somehow very interesting by increasing awareness of
Yeah.
regarding global English as language teaching. In that case, the beliefs of the people may be, slightly changed, but it's still very difficult to share.
Yeah.
Like in our case, for example, when you had opportunity to face yourself to experience yourself in Phuket, remember?
Yes.
To speak, to interview with different people, different tourists from different countries, and you can see yourself that, global English as language is very practical in reality.
Yeah.
And that's the way how people use the language. And in that case, with some of my students previously, after returning from Phuket or Bali, for example, his or her belief has been changing. One, he has an opportunity to see by his own eyes himself.
Yeah, and I would add that prior to this, I also cling on to the native speaker norm because I did not have an opportunity to be exposed to the concept of world Englishes or global Englishes. But once I knew the function of the language, I completely changed my perspectives. Okay, when I attended a course on world Englishes, I learned that language has dual functions. Firstly, to communicate, we use the language in order to convey our message. Okay, that's how we learn, right? Language and communication. And the other function of language is it is a tool for projecting our identity. Because many people do not want to sound like a native speaker simply because they want to convey, they want to index their own cultural identity. Because language and culture are inseparable. That's why there are many people, especially in ESL context, who may want to use the language to project their own identity. I have just learned that, many people want to use their own accent. They don't want to change the way they speak, right? They just want to stick to their own variety of English in order to tell others that they are from, Singapore, they're from China, they're from Malaysia. But we could not sense this kind of stuff because we are from an expanding circle country, which is norm dependent, right? We have to depend on someone else, right? But in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Hong Kong, they have their own norms. They develop their localized varieties of the language, right? So maybe if you have an opportunity to teach students, you may tell them, these dual functions of the language, so that they could understand why people do not conform to a native speaker norm. Isn't it because it doesn't mean that they are not competent enough, right? Sometimes it shows that they want to show their identity, right? We have to understand both sides of the coin, right? Yeah. Why it is not widely accepted, right? Across the board. Yes.
In Thailand? Okay, so I will give the example in Thailand first. So in Thailand we call it socialism, which is the society believe that if you are native speaker, which native speaker in my definition is you have to be like white skin, blue eyes, and like brown hair. And even though if you are born in America or British but you are an Asian, you are not defined as a native speaker. So in Thai they make like the looking of the native speaker like superior than another kind of race. Yes, so that's why in Thai there's not popular as the white gel is not popular than the other countries.
Why implementing gel in the ELT classroom is a bit difficult?
For me, actually, why in Thai gel is not popular? Not just in Thai, others. Because when you look at the test, the standard English test like TOEIC, TOEFL, IELTS, it's like they have to follow the rules of the standard English. So that's why people are the gel is not this unacceptable much. Yeah.
Maybe one reason is because of the lacking of knowledge regarding the concept of global English. But what is more important is that when you want to teach global English, you know how to teach. What strategy is?
I still don't know.
What assessment? How you are going to assess?
Yeah.
Give me the book. You want me to teach global English language?
How?
Give me the book. I need the book. No book, no teach. So we're talking about lacking of teaching and learning materials.
Okay,
Right?
okay.
Can you see any TELT materials on the shelf in the bookstore? No, very difficult, right? So maybe this can be another issue. And if we really want to promote the global English language teaching more in our ELT classroom, we'll be providing design
you know, but we cannot do it by just fews of people, you know, this kind of thing that you just told me. But there's someone who own power in our, you know, country.
It's very difficult.
Yes, yes.
I know, yeah.
So maybe they don't give value much about this. So others is
kind of idealized for
Yes.
now. It's difficult to understand. Yeah.
And some scholars have argued that if you propose this as a model, it means that you are trying to replace this with another model. And that will go back to the same circle, right? Okay. It's matter of adoption, not adaptation, right? So, yeah. So I have argued in my work that it's very difficult to propose a model for teaching GELT because it's like we try to promote our model.
Yes. So one
It's,
thing that we can do is that based on our research, actually, you know, trying to understand what does this mean by global English or English language teaching concept first. And if we study, I mean, clearly we will be able to learn that global English or global English language teaching concept is not a concept to replace any other model. It's just another option of English language teaching.
right?
Will you use it or not? Up to you.
Yes,
This concept are not going to replace any other existing models. Okay.
You know, if it's good enough. Yeah.
So when we mention about global English language teaching concept, I mean, try to be confident that this concept is not going to shade or replace any existing one. It's just another option of language teaching. That's it.
Kind of like mixed to other old models, like that, but not replacing.
Context again, depending on the aims of your
Okay.
Yes.
we just offer perspectives that might work best in situations where English is used as a lingua franca, and that's it, right?
You remember that last time we went to the Thailand TESOL International Conference in Chiang Mai, right? And we had the opportunity to attend the session speakers by Professor Gabriel Phan from Chantu University. He mentioned a lot about the teaching pedagogies, teaching styles, blah blah blah, and he mentioned that there are lots of teaching concepts, okay, pedagogies. There are so many teaching concepts, but he asked one question to the audience: which concept is practical and which concept is not practical? And he ended his session by asking by his statement, which says something like we as teacher, we have a point to change, okay, to use this particular teaching method to our students, but we have no power.
Exactly.
All right,
Especially in
so,
Thailand.
Yes, my next question is how do you implement global Englishes in your future teaching?
Well, in my perspective, and I think I would combine the gel concept with the speaking, speaking skills, you know, because speaking and listening skills, because the gel is mainly focused on the communication, right? So we have to build the confidence for students to have the confidence to speak with. I think there's no need to much fluency, but they have the brave, have a confidence to speak first.
Right. I want to hear from every one of you.
Okay. From my perspective, I think about this a lot because in my future, I intend to be a teacher. Actually, I'm not sure about it, but I intend to teach students by building awareness about the diversity of
awareness.
English to
That's
them.
good.
But actually,
That's an
I
important
kind of
aspect.
standard English. I really like standard English, but actually, for my experience, I still cannot understand which language is which language. Do you understand? I can't figure out how they're talking about in their accent. So that's from my problem. I think it's gonna be a positive way to make my student know and separate the accent in when people talking talking about something and they understand what people are talking about. Like from my experience, I still confused between American and British accent. I still cannot figure out what they are talking about in British accent. Even there's two accents, American and British. I still confused by that. What if there are more than that? There are more than accent. These two accents, I would be confused very much. These are my experience. So I think it would be positive way to make awareness to my student and try to make them understand what accent, which accent it's. Try to make them understand these accent in some accents, like Indian accent or Singaporean accent.
You mean you can expose them to shared linguistic features, phonological features, pronunciation features
Yes,
of
probably.
different varieties of English. That's a good idea.
Yes.
So many scholars have a question that how are we going to teach all varieties of English? That's impossible, right? But we can teach students shared linguistic features. For example, people from the Philippines, from Malaysia, and Singapore may find it hard to pronounce the th sound, the t sound correctly with the correct manner of pronunciation. So, aspirated pronunciation, aspirated manner may become unaspirated. Something like that. We can inform them of shared linguistic features, right? So that in the future, when they encounter people coming from these particular countries, they find it easier to understand them, right? Okay, so that's a good point. Okay, how about others?
For me, actually, in our Thai curriculum or Thai, the material are not. We don't have much material or the supported from the government much. Yeah, so we maybe when I be the teacher in the future, I'll use the material that I can find, like the various English speakers in the maybe internet or the real situation that I will share with my students, that they have not just the English that standard English, but they also have a lot of kind of speaker or kind of English. Yeah.
And what about you?
Can I have a question related to? Can I have questions? Okay, related to materials, focusing on gel. Okay, as you said that in Thailand, we have rare materials related to gels. So could you present a creative idea to create some materials to teach your maybe secondary or high school students to familiarize them with varieties of accents, as you say, Filipinos, Singaporean accents, Indian accents, and you say that you can gather materials, audio clips with different accents from the internet. Okay, so could you share me some ideas?
I think we should emphasize in terms of speaking English in diversities of accent. Maybe we can find some audios in some accents like Indian accent or Singaporean accent or Japanese accents, so we can make our student understand and be used to in these accents, so they will not have a problem like me that listen to foreigner and I don't understand what they're talking about. So I think audio would be a good material for them to understand what when they are talking to foreigners, so they would be understand more.
What you have just mentioned about your problems, your experience I personally do not think that it is the problem. It's just a kind of your self-awareness.
Yes, it's my problem.
Yeah, and use your awareness to develop yourself later on.
Yes, okay, thank you.
Comparing to the past, to my period in the past when I was undergraduate students, sure, we were not familiar well with different accents. We were familiar with only our lecturers, British or American lecturers, but we were not familiar with Filipinos or Singaporean or even Indian, you know. But nowadays, you or even your students can be well familiar with different accents. And I think AI is a good tool for you to create a good materials easily, you see. So what is your idea?
Okay, AI I see your point. AI is good, but actually we discussed about this in educational class, education class. Which one is better? In the future, will AI replace real teacher? And we discussed about this a lot. And my point is always on the side that AI will never replace real teacher, because as we know that in one room, in one class, there is a bit different kinds of our students. The way they learn, it's maybe completely different. Some students is good at taking information through voice, through audio, but some students good at writing and it's coming in their mind. So I think AI is good. We can use AI. I didn't mean that we cannot use it, but when we use it, we could have much awareness of using that. And it also depends on level of our student. If they are just a little baby, they are at their young age, we should use the material that they can really touch, not just in the screen. That's not suitable.
Link it back to global English as awareness then. How AI can increase the awareness of the learners or teachers towards global English? Because what you have just mentioned is something beyond to your topic today. Okay? So now I'm trying to link it back, bring you back to the track, okay?
Yes.
How AI can develop or increase the awareness of the people regarding global English as global English as language teaching.
AI.
Yes.
Maybe as a friend, AI as a friend, like
Nowadays we have GPT.
yeah. For now we have like ChatGPT, right?
What is the role of AI in
The role of AI.
For me as a friend, if if it have like some situation that happened to me about a cultural that like maybe have a problems, sometime I can ask the ChatGPT. I think ChatGPT is very positive one, positive like thinking.
how can it increase
Okay.
awareness of
Awareness.
Yeah.
AI can increase the awareness of the people towards global English as language teaching.
Okay.
Towards English learning.
Okay, I have found some discussion through the internet. That is someone Thai people use AI and teach them to speak, Kampuan, and the foundations of ChatGPT, they have told us that if we want to raise the awareness through the internet, through AI, through ChatGPT, we as a human, real human, we should talk to them as much as we can to put the awareness and empathy and the idea of GELT in the right way, in the positive way, into, klang of that ChatGPT, yes. So when our students go through the internet and use AI, such as GPT, the popular one, they may found.
You said you use ChatGPT,
Mm-hmm.
but how you are going to
You mean
use
in the classroom?
in order to increase the awareness regarding global English?
in classroom or individual?
No matter what.
Right? There are many AI. Right? There are many AI, right? Yeah.
Maybe create like about give a ChatGPT to create a version of English.
Yes. Explain, please.
Like Indian one, Japanese one, Chinese one, and then bring them back to your classroom. And then give your students to discuss about how this accent sounds like, how this accent sounds like. Thank you.
Actually,
Finally.
there are available archives that you can use to retrieve your, pronunciation audios across the world. And you can also use AI to generate voices in whatever accents. If you use a paid version, I'm not sure. You can use plug in ChatGPT to generate text-to-speech voices, and then you can ask it, you can instruct it to create it in an Indian English accent, right? Right. Yeah. So you can use so. Very resourceful. ChatGPT is very resourceful if you want to teach global Englishes.
You can try narakit.com to create varieties of accents. Narakit.com. Yeah.
It is similar with
Not narrative.
narakit.com.
How do you spell it? NARA.
No. NARAKEET.
It is familiar with ChatGPT or
No.
No. Application.
You can also go to IDEA, International Dialect of English Archives. You can search for an accent that you want to expose your students to. Yes, IDEA. There are multiples of English varieties available. Okay. Okay.
Have more time.
No. I've covered all my points. So let's move on to Q&A session. Are there any questions from
Any
the
question,
floor?
please?
Even from your friends, colleagues, any questions? Since you are the one who teach the socio-linguistic. Because when we're talking about socio-linguistic, it's a kind of how we use language in the society, right? Are there any, similarities or different, aspects, regarding socio-linguistic and global English linguistic? Or to share? Yes.
ตอบไม่ได้โดนไล่ออกนะตอบไม่ได้หักคะแนนลูกศิษย์หนูไม่กูพูดเล่น
How do we normally use the language in society normally? I have read your text about code switching and code mixing, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe you can link to that ideas. Any idea to suggest? Because now there are lots of varieties of English nowadays. Yeah. When we use the language, for example, do we still need to rely on native speaker? Do we have to speak English as a native speaker from your own perspective, based on the expertise on your own linguistics?
I think you all have the idea of code switching or code mixing, right?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah, of course. I think so because
Actually, I haven't enrolled in the social.
it's okay. It's already in this course, right? Okay. Actually, in my opinion, it is under this concept of GELT, right?
Right, I think you haven't touched the subject language and society before, right? It's according to socio-linguistics, right? Yeah. So this concept, the concept of global English and
yeah, of course, social linguistics is the study of language use in society, right? So yeah, it's reflect this idea of GELT. That's it. That also, I think, you will be able to relate them, right, to each other. So I think, what to say? From your question, that make me so excited, because I didn't prepare the question. But actually, the question in my mind is that I want you to clarify about your answer for this topic, your own topic, about this, that it is a pro or con, yeah? Is it the same question of other
Yeah, sure,
teacher
sure.
before that? Not yet, right?
What's your
Maybe?
account on this issue?
Okay. When we
But let's say by the end of your journey,
okay.
okay, consider global English language teaching as the opportunities or as the barriers in English language teaching.
Okay, I would like to.
That's going to be the last question for your section today.
Okay. Okay, so let me share some idea first from the native speakers from our field trip to Phuket. I have asked them that this question, I have asked them, and some of them from the one from Scotland. He said that it is challenges because he's have been, travel in Thai for 6 months, and he have heard a lot about the varieties of accents, and I think it is so hard to catch, especially in Thailand. So I asked him a question, and he answered me immediately that will be challenges to you all as the future teacher, because for now you teach them. You give the importance to grammaticals more, but people still speaking in ungrammatical ways. When you're gonna do what you're gonna do when you're gonna put GELT concept in our education system, because now it's not best. Yeah. Yes, it's just an introduction. Introduction. So my answer. Okay, conclusion. We still have time. Okay. 10 more minutes. Okay, but I have answered him that. But what if we not change anything? You have to understand that in order to change our society, our students' perspective about GELT or about variety of English, we as a teacher, we have to start by ourselves first. Who gonna bring this idea to our students if we not the one who stand up? I have already told my answer.
Not the answer. Just introduction. So the final answer is EELT.
It's a beacon of hope.
Is the opportunity.
Yes. Not a barrier, but it's a beacon of
Beacon of
hope.
hope.
Yes. Opportunities, yes.
We better change than stand to the same position.
Yes. For the better future. You want to finish? Okay. One more questions. Okay. Please. From the audience.
Okay, I got a question from the audience. Yeah. This one and
the owner
yes,
of-
it. Maybe you can talk by yourself.
We would like to listen there, right?
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay.
Okay, my question is about if you are a teacher and you have a student who less confident and they are not enough for English skill, And would you will deal with this situation? Would you like to directly score, or you try to help them improve their English? Which one you will choose and why you choose that?
As a teacher, as a good teacher, you must choose to improve them and encourage them more to use English. And as you said that they have no confidence, right? It is your duty to make a classroom as a good environment and comfortable environment for them. So you need to make in positive environment for them, and you need to make them be confident more in using English. So it is
will
your
come
duty.
later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your questions. Okay, follow-up question on this question. Yes, not yet.
Why?
No. You have just mentioned that, okay, you are getting, okay, based on assessment and boost confidence, and you are going to deal with the positive environment, right? So based on these three concepts, okay, assessments and the boosting confidence, right? And then building the, creating a positive, learning environment. Based on these three concepts, how to link to GLT? Because your students are, as he mentioned, less competent, right? Yes. So how you are going to support or help, these students based on these three factors, the way to assess his English proficiency, the way to increase his confidence in using the language, and the way to build or create positive English learning environments by using the concept of GELT in ULT classroom.
So as we know that GLT is focused on varieties and try to communication, right? So we can build confidence by ourselves by the speaking in local Thai style. But what are you doing? Like this, for example. So yeah.
So that means you are not going to judge your students.
No, I'm not. Yeah, yes.
Okay,
Of course.
he or she is able or not able to speak like a native speaker or not.
Yes.
You provide him, freely to speak in the way he prefers, in order to boost his confidence and increase the positive learning environment. Okay, you have done answering 2 points. How about in terms of assessment? Thank you very much. Your question is very practical. For example,
So, out of 10, how many score you give them?
For my opinion, I will try to watch and to see them how they try to speak out of English. It's not depends on how they can speak well in English, but how much they try to speak in English. But if I ask them in English and they speak out and they answer me back in English without afraid to talk to me, I would say at least 9, because that's my student. They are comfortable to speak English. That's the purpose.
So you are going to assess their English proficiency, not looking at how much they are able to speak like a native.
Yes.
Right. To be honest, we have been talking and discussing and perceive ourselves that, okay, we speak Thai and Thai is our mother tongue. We have been speaking Thai and using Thai since we were born. Are you sure that you can use Thai as Bhattacharya Satan? No.
No.
So thank you very much for your provoking session.
Thank you.
Very thought-provoking. Okay, I have learned a lot from you guys as well. Thank